interpolation technique, which is typically used for piecewise interpolation. Is what we are doing it. We have a complete component like this. Okay, we have pieces in it. This is one piece, then second piece, then third piece, and fourth piece. Ultimately, you are going to have an interpolation function for this. Means I have a u1 displacement here, then u2 displacement here, then u3 displacement here, and then I have a u4 and u5. Okay, so this is what you are going to connect with some line, and that is what it is called as an interpolation function. This is one piece of interpolation function. This is my second piece of interpolation function. This is your third piece of interpolation function. Likewise, you can have pieces. That's what it is called as a piecewise and interpolation function. Okay. So this gives an approximate solution, because why we are doing in the pieces, because we don't know what is my exact behavior of this particular deformation or whatever the structure behavior. That's what we have done. We have divided into multiple pieces, and then we are joining these pieces to each other. And this approximate continuous function is assumed. This approximate continuous function, this is your element. This is my element 1 number. And it is assumed your solution is continuous within this and up to this point. So that's what it is called as an approximate continuous function is assumed to represent the solution in the element. And then you are going to connect, that is what an inter-elemental connectivity or inter-elemental connectivity you are going to ensure, and that continuity, that is also called as a continuity, means displacement of this u1 u2 in first number node and displacement of u2 in the second number node is same. So that is what
Sir, voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, yes, sir.
Now is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
now, okay.
This inter-elemental continuity you are mentioning, and if your displacement is in a continuity, then it is called a C0 continuity. If you are one more derivative, so that is what it is a strain continuity, then it is called as a C1. And if you are taking on one more derivative, that is what may be a d x square or something, then it is called as a C2 type continuity. Likewise, you can go for n number of such continuities. And that continuity, this type of continuity can be used, but in mechanical domain typically C1, C0, C1 and C2 are more than sufficient for us. Now we need not to go for any higher order continuity in this case. Okay, up to C2 it is okay. C2 is also very difficult to implement in fact. Okay, so when we are doing an FE analysis, we first of all go for pre-processing phase. In this pre-processing phase, you are going to create a model which you want to do the analysis. Then you are going to discretizing this model. That is what it is called as meshing in all softwares. Okay. Then after discretizing, you are going to apply the boundary conditions, and this whole stuff is called as a pre-processing. In this process, pre-processing, there should be a CAD modeling software. Okay, that CAD modeling software may be anything. You can model that into the ProE, maybe PTC or any other CAD modeling software, and you can import also. And you have a facility in ANSYS also that you can create a model into the ANSYS also. Then you are going to divide that model into small pieces. That is what it is called as discretization. And then you are going to apply the boundary conditions. Boundary conditions means one part of the component is fixed, another part you are going to apply the forces or kind of things you are going to do it. So that whole stuff comes under one single phase. That is what it is, a pre-processing phase. Maximum time in the simulation will be taken by this pre-processing phase only, because this is most important phase, because we have to have each and every control on it. Because what kind of a model you want to provide, whether you want to provide in a fillet, if I am going to provide the fillet, how many number of elements it will generate, so many things will be there. So that's what is to be done. You need to concentrate more into the pre-processing phase. Once completed this pre-processing, then you will get an equations. We have seen u1 plus u2 is like one equation, then second equation, then you are going to convert that equations into matrices u1, u2 something, and these are nothing but an algebraic equation. What is actually behavior of your system is a differential equation. You have started within a differential equation, because differential equations definition itself tells that it is represents a rate of change of variable, rate of change of any variable with any other variable, independent variable variation. So that is what it is represented, converted that differential equation into algebraic equation. That is what it is we done it in pre-processing phase. Once we done this in pre-processing phase, next stage is to solve it. So you can use a Gauss elimination or Gauss Seidel kind of techniques. And once we get this entire step, you will get the deformations u1, u2. These are the deformations you will get if you are doing a structural analysis. If you are going to do a thermal analysis, you are going to get the temperatures T1, T2 something. If you are going to do a CFD analysis or something, you are getting a V1 velocities, V1, V2 or something. Likewise, so for different domain, different independent parameter will be determined. So ultimately, you want stresses. Stress, how much amount of stress in case of structural analysis. Okay, so that's what we need to convert that into the stresses, and that is what it is done into the post-processing phase. In this post-processing phase, what we do, we convert that into using certain formulas like du by dx represents a strain, then multiply with an E value, you will get a stress. Like this we do it. So that is what the way we do the post-processing, and it needs some formulas like this, and also they use some theories of failure formulas. So already we have gone through this part already. I will just not go in detail of it, because already we done it. What is this? This is what an assembly final equations you can get. Once you get this equation, it will now start solving this by using a Gauss elimination. Up to this point, it is called as a pre-processing phase. And when you are going to solve it by any of the method, maybe Gauss elimination, LU decomposition, or any kind of a method, so then it is called as that is what a solution we can say. So once we get the solution, this is what the way we can do it. We want a strain, we will determine the strain. You know the U, you will convert to this. That is what you will get in a strain. Once you get the strain, you will determine the stresses, then reaction, so many things you can do it. So that is what it is called as a post-processing phase. So we'll now see what is this ANSYS does. ANSYS does the same thing, nothing else, but on broader scale. Its scale is bigger one. In hand calculation, we have a limitation that we can process this matrix up to 3 by 3 or maybe 4 by 4 or maybe higher 5 by 5. It will take too much time. So that whole work was done by ANSYS within a fraction of seconds also. So that is what this ANSYS has an advantage. So what it does, when you are solving this, ANSYS has a certain capacities. In this capacity, it will help to create a model. Okay, this is one first capacity. Second, it will help you to decide what kind of a mesh you can create. Okay, we have seen 1D problems only. So similarly, if you go for 2D, maybe 3D or something. Anyway, today we are going to solve only 1D. Once we go into the 2D, we will solve 2D problems also. In this mesh, what you are doing, you are dividing this component. That is what an automatic mesh it is called as an. It is automation is done. This is what the second capability of it. Then third capability, once we done it, we can apply the boundary conditions. This also can be done quite easily. We have to just select some icons and apply the boundary condition at appropriate location. That is what it is done. After boundary conditions, it has a most important capability. It has a solver, and this solver has two types. One is iterative, which will do it multiple iterations and do it. Another one is in a single shot or single non-iterative type of solvers. So only single solutions you will get. Here it is Gauss elimination will be used mostly. Gauss elimination or LU decomposition method will be used. I'll show you how we can select both of this. Then next is an iterative. Iterative means Gauss-Seidel method will be used. That is what we learned it in this numerical methods. Okay. So once we done this, so next task is we need to look at what kind of analysis it can do. It can do a structural analysis, it can do a fluid analysis, it can do an electromagnetic analysis, it can do a dynamic analysis, it can do a transient analysis, it can do a thermal analysis, so many things independently. So there is also it is facility that when we are doing a thermal analysis, just imagine there is a cylinder, IC engine is there, and you want to do a stress analysis of it. What are the stress generated in the what are the cylinder will not be the only due to the external forces applied onto this. It will have a temperature effect also. So that will be taken care by coupling this thermal domain with your structural domain, and that is what it is called as a multi-physics analysis. So similarly, you may have a capacity ki you want to do a fluid analysis, maybe that fluid you want to convert at that fluid, whichever it is moving on the plate or moving through the pipe. You want to now apply that fluid flow analysis will be converted into pressure, and that pressure amount is given to structural solver. So this is what a fluid solver, then structural solver, then thermal solver. All these are working together, and that is what it is called as a multidisciplinary analysis. Okay. So here it has a capacity that it can do on a workbench. It's in a basic environment for analysis. It can also do a CFD analysis. This is what an explicit dynamic solver. It's explicit means, so whenever you have an equation like u is equal to, you want to determine u is equal to some function of x. So this is what an explicit equation. If your equation is something like this, u square plus 3u plus something 5u, and you want to solve this equation. This is implicit. This is explicit. Explicit means you will get a direct solution through this. But here, what you have to do, you have to assume u is equal to some 0, then you determine some value of u1. This is for first iteration, then second iteration, then third iteration. So likewise, you will go on solving it, and that is what it is called as an implicit, where you will not get direct relation, which can determine value of u or particular variable. That is what it is implicit. And this is explicit dynamic solver. Reason for explicit means it will get in a direct one step solution. That is what is most important. Only one single step, and that is what very much helpful for transient analysis or nonlinear simulations, which is having a large deformation. So many things you can do it. So this will have an applications like in a structural analysis of your car crash analysis. Today maybe you are going to do a bullet analysis. You may be firing the bullet through your gun, and you want to analyze how much amount of impact is going to happen onto the plate, and that is what kind of a different analysis you can do it. So that is what it is called an explicit analysis. Okay. So it has a nonlinear solvers also, nonlinear buckling solvers also, complex contact analysis, because when you are doing two surfaces, assuming that they are bonded within a certain contact, sometimes your two surfaces may be friction free, maybe frictionless, or friction will be there. So all these type of complex contact also you can include it into this. Then shock and wave propagation also you can do it. So this whole stuff does by two solvers, that is ANSYS Autodyna, ANSYS LS-Dyna, and CFD tool. This is what one CFD tool that is just Fluent. It has imported from Fluent, and this is what is developed by your ANSYS itself. What they do, this is nothing but a pre-processor, pre and post processor, and this is taking an help of this CFD solver directly. So that is what it is done into the ANSYS family of the entire products. When you open up an ANSYS, you can find so many analysis you can do it. along with this all mechanical, fluid, thermal, electromagnetic, all the analysis, there is one more capability that it can do an interdisciplinary analysis also. So, so this is what the way you can do an entire different analysis through it. Okay. So when we open up a window, so I will just I have a windows open for the ANSYS. So this is what the ANSYS window, you can just look at it. What that ANSYS window shows, so here you can have a blank project schematic. This is what an entire project schematic. Left side you can find so many tools onto this. This is design assessment, then electric solver, then explicit solver, fluid analysis. There are so many options for fluid analysis, polyphoro, fluent, CFX, extrusion, so many things are there. Then harmonic response, hydrodynamic diffraction, then hydrodynamic time response. Likewise, IC engine also you can simulate. Buckling also you can do it. Electrostatic, electromagnetic, all these things also you can do it. You can do a modal analysis. Modal analysis is nothing but a technique which help you to determine the natural frequencies of the system. Okay? And this will be much more helpful in most of the cases. Then random vibrations, then response spectrum, rigid body analysis. This will be rigid body analysis will be mostly used for mechanism kind of an analysis where you want to determine velocity, acceleration, joint forces. All this also you can do into the rigid body analysis. Then static structural, where you can do a basic, which are we learned it. So single element analysis, multiple element or 2D analysis, simple static structural analysis you can do it. Here it is in a thermal analysis. Likewise, you can have a transient structural analysis. So many things are there. So you can explore in later stage all this. So along with this, these are the different component systems like an Autodyna, BladeGen. Already I told that is engineering data means it is going to tell you a bunch of the materials which you are going to use it. This software will be used for product design in large extent. This is what. And it can have meshing tools also, APDL, that is what adaptive programming design language. This is what it is defined in initial stage of ANSYS. This is workbench is so much process, and soon it has now it is in more than 18th version something. Okay. Then we can have custom systems also. In this custom systems you can have a fluid, static structure, random vibrations. This you can connect it to each other. Then in design exploration you can do an optimization. That is what you can determine response surface optimization. You can apply the Six Sigma techniques also. So many things you can do it into this. And external connection means you can connect with other sources, like I want to connect with Pro-E, maybe MATLAB, any tool I can connect it. That is what an advantage of this. So this is what different types of analysis available in the ANSYS. This is what typically a project schematic. And right side you can just look at here. So here you can find different tools, property and value. So we'll see it whenever it is necessary. We'll explore those also. Okay. So we'll start with a simple structure analysis. Before going for an analysis, I would like to take a simple truss analysis. One simple truss analysis we'll take. And I will just put the same thing into this, so that structural analysis, and we'll go ahead. Is there any doubt till the time? Kunal, any doubts? Yes, Avadot? No doubts, as usual. You people don't have any kind of doubts. Okay. Can you see my screen? So here you can just look at. It has how many elements? I have 3 elements. It is in a simple truss problem. We already solved it. We have 200 by 200 and then 500 mm square dimensions and diameters. Then here it is in a height is 400. Here it is 115 kilonewton as force is applied and kind of things. This is one problem. We can just look at it. Another problem I would like to show you up this. We'll solve at least 1 or 2 problems today. So this is one problem. We'll start solving this problem first. Okay, determine the stiffness matrix, stresses, reactions into this. So how many elements are there? 1 and 2. And third element is connected between these two, 1 and 3. Okay, so we need to create 3 elemental model. Then 50 kilonewton load is applied, and these are the dimensions through which we want to work out. Okay, so for this purpose, what we'll do, we'll first of all create a model into the answers. Okay, how to create a model, that is the most important. Okay, so here we have a static structural window, so I can just drag and drop the static structural into this. This is a drag and drop type of technique. So actually previously when you see an answers, so it was too much difficult to do an analysis. Reason for that much flexibility is not given to the user, because if user is don't know answers or anything, or he don't know FE analysis, he can't handle that. But nowadays it has a capability that it can do it. Okay, so here you can just look at, here it is only one green check mark and the rest of the question marks are there. Okay, so these are having a certain meaning for it, don't miss it. Okay, so this is what a green check mark indicates. Entire data is completely filled, and that particular part is perfect enough. You need not to worry about it, because it has taken a default structural material. Okay, so this is what a structural material. I can just double click on it. I can open, it will open up another window. Okay, here it is taken in a structural steel material, and this is what a structural steel already it has taken. Left side you can see so many toolboxes and so many things are there. So here you can go on adding different materials. Okay, you can different properties, linear elastic property, then hyper elastic property, hypoelastic, plastic, bilinear material, multilinear material. So many things you can include. Even you can include creep, life, strength, gasket analysis also you can do it. Okay, so in this structural, whenever we do an analysis into the answers or by hand calculation, we are only one single material property are using for an FE analysis for 1D case. So that is what it is, a Young's modulus. This is what an Young's modulus you are going to use it. Okay, so this Young's modulus, sorry. Okay, here you can just look at these properties. Isotropic elastic property, I can have on here, it is a Young's modulus 2 point something. Just look at how much we are having a 2.2 raised to 5 or something. Here it is an 11 because it is in Pascal, that is Newton per meter square. Okay, so it has taken this, and second material property is 0.3, which will tell you if I am going to apply the force in one direction, how much deformation is going to happen in other direction. That is what it is told by this Poisson's ratio. So that is 0.3. Okay, so only these two properties will be used for your structural analysis. Not rest, any of the property will be not be used, because in this equation we are never using any other property. Okay, keep in mind, we are not using any other property. So only these two. If I am going to change any of these two property, obviously my value should change. If I am doing an analysis somewhere and I am going to change the density, it should not change your stresses or something. Okay, so this is what basically idea behind it. Okay, so we have selected a default material, that is what structural steel. Then we'll move towards a geometry. In this geometry, you want to do a 1D analysis. So that's what 1D analysis means. I am going to draw on a line, and that line is represented as a body. That's what here in right side, properties of schematic, that is A3 geometry property. Here what you can do, you can just line bodies, you can click onto this. Okay, so it will convert whichever I am going to create in a line, that will be treated as a body. Okay, it will not be treated as a single line. Okay, means it will give an area for it or some different cross sections for it or anything you can do it. So once you click this, it will automatically open that particular option into this geometric modeling. So that's what I can now open up. This is having a different software altogether. This is what software it is called as a design modeler. So if you are installing 18th version or something, they are going to have a space claim something design modeler or modeling software. Here it is a simple software, that is a design modeler software. So in this design modeler, you are going to create a line by line models. Once you create these models, what you are doing? You are doing applying in a boundary conditions, and you are going to solve this. That is what the procedure you are going to follow it. So meanwhile, let it open, and meanwhile we'll just look at the problem, how we are going to do this analysis. In this case, these are the three vertices. This is my first vertex, then second vertex, and this is my third vertex. I'm going to join, this is one line, this is my second line, and this is my third line. Okay. So these three lines are connected, and these three lines will be converted into the body. Means this, what is the area behind it? That is 1000 mm square is my area for it. Okay. So that much amount of diameter can be shown onto this diameter. I need to convert that 1000 mm square. I can get in a square root of it, and somewhere it will come to the 34 or something. So that is what you can do it. So once we done this, so this is what done by automatically by ANSYS. You need not to worry about it. And then this also will be done by ANSYS. You need not to worry about it. Only the thing is that you need to apply these boundary conditions. Okay. So these boundary conditions are to be applied, and then it will determine the displacement and stresses or kind of things. Okay. We'll just now look at the design modeler part. So in this case, in design modeler also you can find so many icons, so many buttons are there. Okay. So in these icons, you want to create lines or vectors or plane or part, that is complete 3D geometry. So here it is, you can just select on a points for selection purpose. Select on a point, select on a line, select on a plane, then select on a bodies. So that is what you can have it. Okay. Then on upper side you can have a file menu, then create means you can have an extrude, same kind of tools you can find it as we are using in any CAD modeling software. And then you can have a concept in this lines from the body, because we have checked it. That's what it is coming here. Checked it into the initial phase of it before starting this design modeler. Here you can have so many options. Then you can select units for it. You want to set the units, so that is what millimeter I will set it. Okay. Then here you can have a different views. You can get wireframe view, then shaded interior. So many views will be there. So don't worry, keep it at default into this. These are the buttons which will tell you the views options. You can rotate it, you can pan it, then zoom it, and then box zoom, then fitting. Then so many options are there. You can go on exploring it. So this is what on a particular section you want to cut. So that also you can do it. This is a section tool, it is called. Then here it is on a look at the face. You can select on a particular plane. We will have 3 planes onto this particular geometry. One is XY plane, ZX plane, and then YZ plane. So I want to draw on a sketch onto the XY plane. And here you can have generate button, then parameters. Parameters I will tell you in detail in later stage. Then extrude, then revolve, sweep, skin. These are the 3D conversion tools. Okay, so that is also we'll explore it later stage. Then XY plane. In this XY plane, I am going to sketch. This is my X axis, this is Z axis, and this is Y axis. So my plane will be somewhere this way. Okay. So now I can look at the face. It will show you me on a 2D face. Okay. Then I will go into the sketching. I'll draw a line for each one. Okay. So this is one line I'm going to determine. Okay. So this is one line, and then I want to give the dimensions for it. So I want to give different dimensions I can give. I can give an horizontal, then vertical. It's not easy the way we do it in Pro E or any CAD modeling software, because this ANSYS has a more concentration not onto the modeling part, but they given a more concentration on simulation part of it. So that's what these software will not have capabilities like any sophisticated modeling softwares. Okay. Then I can have different dimensions I can give. I can give horizontal dimensions, vertical dimensions, so many things are there. So there is one more semi-automatic dimensions is also there. You can select and you can give it to it. How much dimensions we need to give? So you just look at the model, okay. So here it is in 500. I will now change this to the 49 point something to the 500, okay. So it has now I can fit this to particular part, and then next is to again draw another line, okay. This is one line, okay, that has created it wrongly. This is what on a line I want to draw it exactly horizontal, okay. So what is the length of that line? Just look at the model, it is a 750. I'll now give the dimensions for this, and I'll go into the dimensions again. I will click onto the semi-automatic, it will take automatically, and I'll give a 750 as a dimensions for this, okay. So once again zoom it. Now last one is I need to connect this point and this point, okay. So I'll draw this. This is what it is to be connected with this, okay. This way we created in a model for it. Means this is what in a sketch we created. We are not again converted into the bodies. So here you can just look at the bodies and parts. It is 0, it is showing. It is nothing you have created, because it will not be imported directly to the solver then. So I'll now sketch this. I'll go into the concept. I want to select, I want to give the dimensions for these lines, okay. Keep in mind these lines are representing certain geometry and certain cross section. So I'll now lines from the sketch. I'll now select lines from the sketch. I'll select this entire, all the lines, all the entire sketch, and I'll say it is apply. Means this is now able to now convert into sketches. So then now I will say it is in a generate. It will convert that into the one part. Here you can just look at, this is a line body. It has converted into the line body. So you are not given any dimensions as such. So only what you are doing, we have given a dimensions for a structural dimensions. We are not shown how much area is here or kind of things. So that can be done by just inserting in a cross section here. If you want to cross section here, then rectangular is there, then circular is there. So I can now select on a circular as a cross section. I'll select this circular cross section, okay. I'll give the dimensions as a 34 something. If you look into this, 34 diameter will be there for this, okay. So then go into the line body and then select this circular as a cross section. So this way we created a component. So before going further, I would like to ensure how much amount of dimensions I need to give it. So can you tell me square root of 1000? Because we have an area is total area is 1000. Okay. Anyone? Avdut? This is 1000. I can do a square root of it. 3162. 3162 3. I'll give the dimension as in a 3162 3.
1.62.
31. How much?
0.62. 31.62.
Okay, I'll just 62 to 63 I will do it, because rest of the digits you are not taking. Okay, so this can be converted into 2, this can be converted into 3. That is what. Okay, so that's what I will keep this much. Okay, so now we have generated an entire model. We have a line body with us. I'll now close this. Okay, don't hurry to save all the time this one. Okay, once we done this closing, then come back to your again ANSYS main window. Here previously you might have seen there was an equation back. So you have created a perfect geometry. There is no problem in the geometry for further processing. That's the reason you can find here green check mark, which tells it is a perfect. Now you need not to worry about it. Now we need to create a model for it. Okay, now I'll double click onto this. Let it open. It will take time because it has to do so many processes in background. Even though you have a very small model, it has to do all the processes. Okay, that's what it will take time. And my PC is also very slow, and that's what it is taking too much time also, because it has loaded with so many other software, so many things are there. Along with this, now what we have to do into this, we have created a model into this. In mechanical, what are this part you are opening? So what you have to do, you have to fix this, or you have to apply these boundary conditions. You have to mesh it, and you have to solve it. So that is what it is expected from this. Whenever you are clicking or using any computer software, my request is that just keep some patience in it, because when something is not opening, just imagine that it has to do so many processes at background. That's what it may take some more time. Till the time we need to wait for it. Okay. It is now doing a processing, means what it has done, it has to take an energy engineering data also. Okay, it has to take a geometry also. It has to take this geometry engineering data to another software. Okay, so this is one. Another one is that software itself has to open it. Okay, it has its own all tools. It has to active all these tools for it. Okay, it has now shown a geometry for us. Okay, is it the same geometry? Yes, it is same the geometry. You can just look at this geometry. You can see in the lines. We are not given any dimensions for it. Okay, so only you can see a line geometry. Okay, so here in this geometry you can just look at, here it is a line body. Then there is a coordinate system. Don't disturb coordinate system. It is taken. This is 0, 0. You need not to worry about it. This is a meshing. So keep this meshing also default. Whenever we need for a more advanced kind of a meshing, I will explore that too. Then in static structural, here it is, you can just look at, here it is in a question mark. Here it is not in a green check mark, but it is a yellow mark. Here it is in a green check mark. So what this indicates, this yellow mark indicates some simulation is left to be done, some kind of a calculation left to be done. That is what it is shown into the mesh part of it. But here something is missing. We have not provided a complete data. That is nothing but a representation of this question mark. Okay, now I can select onto the structural. I want to fix it. What are the boundary conditions we need to apply for it? So I have to apply, this is also fixed, this is also fixed. Okay, so both the things we need to fix it. So that is what you want to do it. So now I can right click onto this. It will open up so many other tools onto this. Here you can just acceleration, standard earth gravity, rotational velocity, pipe pressure, force, remote force, bearing load. We'll explore these one by one. So there is an also fixing tools, that is a fix, displacement, remote displacement, frictional support, so many things are there. Then nodal orientation, force, pressure, orientation, so many things are there. So what is to be done? We want to fix it. We'll select this tool. Okay. Then where we want to fix it? I want to fix this particular vertex and this particular vertex. So now look at this particular symbols. So here it is in a plane selection, this is a line selection, this is what in a point selection. You want to select the point. So that's what I will now click onto this. I will activate this. Okay. So I will now click onto this. Also I will click onto this also. So when I am going to use a control or shift button, okay, control button, if I am going to select it, it will select both the things. And so then now I will say here apply button. Means these 2 points are now fixed. Fixed means all the directions like an X, Y, Z, as well as 3 rotations, each and everything is fixed. Nothing is left to be open. So that is what keep in mind, fixable. Still we have a question mark. We have not applied a force onto this. That's what it is showing in a question mark. Now again right click onto this, then say it is in a force. I'll now select this edge and I will say apply. Here it is showing yellow. Here it is in a 2 different types of ways, different ways which we can apply in a force. One is called as a vector, another is called as components. In vector, if I have a plane and I am going to select that plane and I want to apply the force onto this. So whatever the force applied onto the plane is perfectly perpendicular it, and that is what it is called as a vector application. And if I want to provide some orientation for this, that is what component. So in this component I can have an X component, then Y component, and the Z component. In which direction you want to apply? This is my X axis, this is Y axis, and Z axis is through the plane. Okay. Now I will apply onto the Y axis. How much we need to do it? 150 kilonewton. Here it is a Newton. So that's what I need to provide 3 zeros onto this. Okay. So this is what an arrow it is showing in upward direction. Is it true? No. So obviously I need to give a negative direction, which will take this arrow to the downward direction. That is what you can do it. So now it is showing in a green check mark, and then next part is solution part. In this solution, so solution part, you can just look into the solution information. Okay, here you can just look at the solver output. Just click onto the solver output. You can find a force convergence, displacement convergence, then movement convergence, rotation convergence, maximum DOF increment. So many convergences are there. Okay, if I click onto this force convergence, what that indicates, if I am going to apply the force onto this model with 150 Newton, and it is going to determine the reactions of these two. Okay, it will, because it is fixed at this location. So if this equal to, this is what the external force is not equal to this is what it is called as your solution is failed. Means there is a certain criteria we need to all the time look into this. That is what it is called as a force convergence. Same way with a displacement convergence, we'll see this in more detail when we do a very complicated kind of an analysis. That's what I will keep as a solver output as a define. So here it is a Newton-Raphson residual. So we are not doing any Newton-Raphson or something. So keep rest of the things as it is. Don't worry about it. In initial phase, don't disturb this, because it has default conditions are such that it will solve your model. It will not disturb your model. Okay. Now you go into the solution. Right click onto this solution. You want deformations. Okay. Then again you want to determine stresses into this. So that's what here you can, deformation is there. There are 2 types of deformation. One is total, another is in a direction. Total means it will vectorial deformation it will do. If I say this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis, my deformation is somewhere here. So it will now give me this deformation, this particular deformation. That is what it is called as total. And directional means it will give me only x deformation or y direction. So I'll now directional deformation, and in this case I can now select which direction here. Okay, I can select y deformation as in specifically. That's what. And even I can select a typical body or kind of line. I want to only see this particular diameter. It will show me only that much deformation, nothing else. Okay. So similarly, I want to have a deformation of, total deformation of this particular body, okay, and that too also in y direction, not in x direction, because anyway deformation in x direction is not going to happen much. So now you want to determine the stresses. You can just go into this, you can go into the beam tool, you can select the beam tool. In this beam tool, when you, here you can get in a direct stress, combined stress and maximum combined stress. Okay, so all these are there. Okay, so once we done this, so these are all green check mark. What that green check mark indicates? Indicates your solution is not yet completed. So that is what it is told. Now you can say it is in a solve. What it will do? It will now take in a geometry, it will do the meshing, it will apply the boundary conditions, automatically it will do everything, and it will convert that into algebraic equations, then it will determine the deformations, and what are the post-processing commands you told it, all these things it will do it, and it will now ready to display you the results. Okay, ready to display you the results. It does within a very small fraction of second, because what the model is in a very small, hardly 3 elements are there, but still it has to open up some of the solver, it has to solve and kind of things. That's the reason it is taking some time. Well, now meanwhile we'll now look at what type of stresses it will generate. So these are the element 1, this is element 2, and this is what your algebraic solution. This is for element 1 stresses. Somewhere it is coming 75 Newton per mm square. Then here it is in a 90. For 2 elements there is 2 stresses. There is a 90 point something, and here it is in 75. We'll just verify whether they comes the same thing or not. Now it has completed his work. Okay, and we'll just check it whether our deformation. This is what in a deformation you can just look at. How much deformation it is showing? 1.2 mm. So just look at whether we have applied the same amount of force or not. How much force we have applied? It was 150 kilonewton. We have applied 150, but it is 50. Okay, I will just change it. Okay, so that kind of things also you can do it quite easily. Instead of 150, I will just remove this 1 and 50 will come. Okay, then again solve it. So now it will not take too much time. It will solve it immediately, because already your all equations are ready. So it is showing 0.373 mm deformation. How much deformation we got it? Maximum. This is what a maximum deformation we got it. Okay, at this point. So you just look at the solutions. So somewhere it is 0.28 and here it is a 0.37. Maybe some kind of a difference, and maximum negative displacement is -1.
Sir, cross section with the checker. Cross section area.
Yeah, cross section area is this circular.
सेक्शन मध्ये आपण सर वेळा घेतला बहुतेक.
काय मला प्रश्न नाही कळाला अवधूत.
सेक्शन मध्ये 100 दिला, आपण काय तर 34 घेतलं ना.
नाही तो 100 हा क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया जो घेतलेला आहे 100 नाही आहे, तो 1000 आहे. 1000 mm square आहे. Your cross section area is 1000 mm square. They have not told you whether it is a rectangle, circular or anything. So we have converted that into a circular and we have given an area as an, म्हणजे याचा जर एरिया 1000 असेल तर त्याचा क्रॉस सेक्शनल स्क्वेअर रूट काय येणार आहे? किती येणार आहे? Okay. So there is one difference. What is the area of the circle? Pi d square. बरोबर आहे. किती येतं? pi d square means what is to be done? I need to convert it to diameter. So 1000 divided by pi, that is 3.14. 3.14.
35.68 डायमीटर mm.
नाही ह्याचा स्क्वेअर रूट करावा लागेल.
केलंच.
17.84 येतो. 17.84 येतो. पाय डी स्क्वेअर ना.
pi by 4 d square.
Okay, 5 by 4 d square, sorry. So pi by 4 means 1000 multiplied by 4, sorry, okay, divided by pi 3.14, okay, and ह्याचा स्क्वेअर रूट करायचा ना. 35.69. Yes. Previously I was telling something, so that's what. Now you can just look at here. So we will change that and we will verify in later stage. Here you can just look at only one body is to be shown as in a deform. Okay. So in this body, this is what in a second body, because we have selected that particular edge to be shown as in a deformation. Here you can just look at stresses coming is 23 something minus 28. So then here it is in a combined stresses also. So this all is to be quite easily determined. Okay, we'll now change that dimensions. So how much dimension I need to change? 35.69 instead of 31 something we have given. So we'll change that and we'll just go into the. So here you can just observe here whatever the question marks have vanished here, because your complete solution you have done it. If you have done mistake, and that will be quite easily seen in this green check marks. If you have done some wrong solution or something, so it will create either a red mark or something that indicates somewhere we done a mistake in the simulation. Okay, let it open. So we'll go into the cross section here. Okay, circular cross section. So in this, how much is to be changed? Here it is a. So I'll just copy this much path. Okay, and I'll paste it here, and I'll now change this. And the rest is okay. Nothing is to be changed. Okay, I'll just now close down this. Then now here you can see green check mark is there. What it is going to show? Some arrow, yellow arrow, means you have changed something in the above part. So that's what it is showing it. Okay. Now I'll go into the model. Here it is showing don't miss any kind of suggestions or instructions generated by ANSYS software or any kind of software. So upstream data needs to be reread. Would you like to reread? Yes, we had a change, and that's what we want to make that change effective in further simulation. That's what I will continue with this. So it will start up mechanical again. You may be wondering why I closed it, because when I close, that effect will be nullified. Means otherwise it will not take what are the changes we are doing in the geometry into this. Okay, that's what all the time we need to close and then open it. It has now taken the geometry which we wanted. Okay, so then you can now, it will now change the symbols. Previously it is green, it will convert that into yellow. It will take time because we have to do an again simulation for it. You can observe here, it is now changed. Here it is mesh also changed, it is yellow, mark it as color. Okay, now once again I will solve it because we need to take an effect of that area. That's what we need to change. We'll see it will do it automatically when we are set it for a parametric kind of solutions. Okay, okay, so here it is a 29225 or something, it is going to show you with the deformation. Here it is a -28, this is what a -28, and your solution hand calculation also shows somewhere -28, 2813. Here it is also something larger value we got it, and then deformation here it is again -28. So you can just look at the stresses, how much it is coming. Somewhere it is 18 -22. Okay, then so that is what the way you can do the simulation into this case. So one thing we missing, somewhere we done a mistake in the boundary conditions. Okay, we assume all these points are fixed. Okay, this is this point. If I provide a displacement for this or vertical, it will allow. So then my stresses and everything will change. So that also you can take an effect of it. So this is what the way you can do an ANSYS and ANSYS analysis of any structure. Similar fashion you can apply for any other models. We'll work out such models in next sessions also. But next session what we'll do, we'll combine this with MATLAB also. Okay, in MATLAB also we do a simulation. We done a programming for it. We have started with a bar element something. We'll convert that bar element into a truss element and we'll try to solve it. Okay. So is there any questions?
सर चार्ट मध्ये एक पुट केलाय सर.
ओके, मला चार्टकडे बघायला वेळच मिळत नाही असं होतं. ओके, सो इट्स अ डायमेन्शन्स टू द मेंबर्स अँड आन्सर्स. कॅन we do analysis of truss for line diagram only? Yes. What exactly you want to say? I can't understand it. Just okay.
सर फक्त ट्रस मध्ये सर फक्त आपण लाईन डायग्राम फोर्स काढण्यासाठी वापरतो ना.
बरोबर आहे.
विदाउट क्रॉस सेक्शन आपण फोर्स
नाही काढू शकत, कारण इट इज अज्युम. आता हे अनालिसिस करताना सुद्धा तुम्ही काय करताय, एरिया काढताय. बरोबर आहे, एरिया असल्याशिवाय यू कांट डू अन अनालिसिस. बरोबर आहे. सो दॅट्स वॉट यू नीड इन एरिया, then you can proceed further. Okay, any questions?